Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Raptors. They have game 4 about 24 hours from now. Actually, wait, no, the game's I think it's like out noon actually. So it's less than 24 hours away, game number 4. Trying to avoid a sweep at all costs. I believe actually Scotty Barnes was announced out already. Joel Embiid, he's got a tough injury on his hand, particularly the thumb. He's going to play through it. He told Drake, he's told Nick, he's told everyone he wants a sweep. And so welcome back to the channel, man. We're talking Raps here. Hit the like button, hit that sub button for daily Raps content and NBA content. Trying to hit 100 likes on today's video. This is so unfortunate, dude. The bottom line is this, though, and I'm talking particularly game 3. The Raps have been playing like shit, dude. I mean, they're not playing well, and you can throw in injuries, you can throw in referees, but at the end of the day, Philadelphia has played better. And it sucks because, you know, myself, along with a lot of other people, this was the series that we wanted. The Philadelphia 76ers are the series that we wanted, and Joel Embiid in specific has really just kind of shut a lot of people up. I mean, I've been seeing so much trade Fred, so much trade Pascal stuff on the timeline and the comment section. I don't think it's that far. But what I think we did realize this season is a couple of things that we kind of knew already. The Raptors' future is extremely bright. Pascal Siakam is not a number 1 on a championship team, nor should he be. I really think number 2 option, if Siakam's number 3 option on a team, that team's going, that team is an immediate contender. I mean, he is so gifted, but we've seen, I mean, Tobias is getting in. I mean, Joel's there. He's fading away. He's not even being aggressive. I don't want to hear double teams. I don't want to hear triple teams. I don't want to hear any of that. You're the best player on the team. You need more than 12 points in a critical game 3. I think he already came out and said, like, oh, I only took 5 shots in the second half. Like, I need to be more aggressive. So I fully anticipate Toronto winning tomorrow's game. Depending on, doesn't even matter who they have, doesn't matter who they don't have, doesn't matter who Philly has, doesn't matter who Philly doesn't have. I've got Toronto winning. This team is extremely resilient, and that's kind of my last point here is Toronto's roster just isn't as good. I mean, they're just not as good. I think we all kind of knew that going into it, but we're thinking this team who had the 4th pick in last year's draft, they finished 48-34. I mean, they are a lot better than a lot of people gave them credit to, but they're still lacking a couple of things. They're lacking a bench. They're lacking a big, sturdy 7-foot center, just your prototypical big 7-foot body down below in the paint. They desperately need a combo guard of sorts, somebody who can score and someone who can facilitate an offense. Like, I think back to him, you see this flag right here. I'm like, first off, why do the Rockets still have Eric Gordon? That's my first question, but you know, obviously we're talking Raps here. I liked the trade for Thaddeus Young. Then he gets like 6 minutes. I know he's battling injury, and I know he's playing through. I understand all that. But I look at a guy like Eric Gordon, even Karis LeVert, and I'm like, you gave up a first for Thaddeus. You were able to acquire a 2nd-round pick that's basically going to be like, what is it going to be? It's going to be like pick number 31, 32. I don't know the exact standings, but it's going to be like a essentially very late 1st-round pick. Eric Gordon for a first and Goran Dragic, that might have gotten a deal done. And I'm just thinking a guy like Eric Gordon, a championship-proven player, a veteran, he would be extremely useful in a time like this. I look at this bench, I'm like, Malachi's been playing phenomenal defense on Harden, but they don't have that guy off of the bench. They don't have that dude, that go-to guy. Chris Boucher's done a wonderful job. Achua's done a wonderful job. You know, Malachi, you know, Thaddeus, they've done a good job, but the roster top to bottom, it's just not as good as Philly. It's just not as good as Philly. As bad as I think the Philly bench is, this is a league driven by superstars. Playoffs, superstars, and stars. And at the end of the day, James Harden, as shitty as he's played, and Joel Embiid, they've outplayed Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam for a majority of this series. So I look at a game like game 3, and I'm like, it was ugly. You know, Toronto had the lead through 4 quarters. Toronto, I should phrase it like this. Philly never had the lead until overtime. It was a tie game until overtime, and you don't win. You play 4 quarters and overtime, and you finish with 101 points. You don't really deserve to win that game. But once again, I mean, they're really resilient. You know, this is a very resilient team. Gary Trent Jr. specifically, like 24 points, 4 and 9 from downtown in game 3. This is a guy who's playing sick. I mean, you can tell even if he's getting better, especially game 2, like you can tell this man is suffering. He's suffering. OG Anunoby has been wonderful. I really, I understand OG's probably the most tradable like asset that Toronto has because you've got Scotty Barnes. He's probably the future of Toronto. He's probably the future of the NBA, to be honest with you. And OG and him, they have similar positions, but obviously Scotty could play power forward. OG really could if you needed him to. But I've seen a lot of people, trading away OG possibly, in acquiring like a superstar-esque player, a guy like Cat, maybe even, I've seen some Miles Bridges trade proposals with Siakam in it. I've been seeing a ton of trade stuff. I really don't think Toronto should be looking into things like that. I think, like I said, you need a big man. It's very clear you need a 7-foot center. Even if it was JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee is still rock solid, having a phenomenal season, having one of the best backup big seasons I've ever seen in my life. Even if you have JaVale McGee and you're playing him 20 minutes a night, he would have had a huge impact like this. The bench, man, Precious Achiuwa came off the bench in the last game. He put up 20. Another thing with Precious is if he made his free throws, the game never goes overtime. Precious makes one free throw, the game doesn't go to overtime. Precious missed 2 huge free throws in quarter 4 at the end of the game in game 3. At the end of the day, man, I need more from Siakam. I need more from Freddie, and they know it. They know it. Game 3, Fred shoots 3 of 13, unacceptable. Siakam 6 of 16. Tobias, Joel Embiid, even when they throw in a double, like they're really talented and skilled defenders. But you got to step up, man. I'm so sick of seeing Siakam get the basketball around the free throw line, kind of try and get in his way, try and get in there, try and, do something with dribbling, try and play make for something. Nothing's working, and you just fall into a fadeaway. It's just not, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And like I said, man, all this sucks because I was wrong. I had Raps in 6. That's literally not possible anymore. I had Raps in 6. I had the Raptors at every point in this season getting to the second round of the playoffs. I would have never guessed 3-0 with Philly. The way Harden's been playing, I don't think so. But Maxey, Tobias, they've stepped up in a number of ways. Even Danny Green, Danny Green threw down a dunk. Danny Green's dunking on your team. Things are not going well. Things are just not going well. So, yeah, you can blame injuries. The Scotty Barnes injury sucked cock. Let's be real here. Gary Trent's illness. You can blame referees. The refs were horrible game 1 and game 2, but at the end of the day, you still didn't really play good. You can blame Nick Nurse. You can blame a whole bunch of different things, but really at the end of the day, everything gets factored in, and Toronto's not playing the way they played all season. Now, I'll leave it with some hope. If there's one team that is going to come back from 3-0, down 3-0, 0-3, it's Nick Nurse, and it's the Toronto Raptors. If there's one team to give up a 3-0 lead, it's going to be Doc Rivers, although he's been the better coach in the series. He's been making the adjustments. Nick Nurse hasn't really been making adjustments, that many compared to Doc. And one more thing, the NBA is the only North American sport that has yet to have a 3-0 comeback in the playoffs. I think it's been done 4 times in the NHL. The Leafs did it. It's been done once in the MLB. It was I think it was the 2004 World Series for the Boston Red Sox. So nothing's impossible here. But no Scotty hurts, and injuries to Thad, the illness with Gary, everything is not ideal. But at the end of the day, you got to zoom out of the chart. This is a very talented Raptors team, and their future is exponentially bright. Especially what we've seen in this playoffs. At the end of the season, you got OG, you got Scotty Barnes. Even if we're not talking, Freddie and Pascal, you got Precious, you got Garrett. You have a lot of studs on your team. So that's it for today, man. I was trying to hit 100 likes on today's video. We're trying to hit 15K by the end of the playoffs. Raps Nation, you've been with me all season. I appreciate all the love so much. I can't wait to make, hopefully, more playoff videos. But unfortunately, if we get to the offseason tomorrow, I can't wait to cover the team in the offseason. So appreciate all the love. Peace.